I'm Pachi Piccone, lead singer of the band Mies. I'm here with musicdistrict.io, discovering new music and pioneering music's future in Web3, one broadcast at a time.
This month on Artist Spotlight, we are introducing a Toronto-based, independent, heavy rock metal force that we cannot ignore. The band is called Mies, led by the powerhouse vocals of Patty Piccone. This Toronto-based heavy rock metal band was born from a group of friends who shared a deep passion for both music and the restaurant industry. And their name is inspired by a French culinary term meaning everything in place, mise en place. In a professional kitchen, the concept ensures that every ingredient, tool, and component is prepared and organized before the service begins, creating efficiency, precision, and a seamless execution. And this is not only a trait and energy that Web3 music welcomes and that artists, fans, and communities can benefit from, but judging by the tightness of their sound as a rock metal band, it is clear that Mies applies this same philosophical recipe to their music. And just as a great dish relies on the perfect balance of ingredients, Web3 music thrives on collaboration. It requires unity, the right elements to achieve true independence and collective success. And by watching and listening and subscribing to Web3 Artist Spotlight interviews and applying some of this educational ingredient into your own recipes, it is my hope that Web3 Artist Spotlight contributes to the success of many, no matter a pinch, a drizzle, a whisk, a simmer, or maybe even just a garnish. So join me as we sit down for this exclusive one-on-one interview with Patty Piccone, lead singer for the band called Mies, where we discuss his secret recipe and share some of his ingredients of what it takes to be an artist in Web3 music. So don't miss this month's Artist Spotlight.
I'm Pachi Piccone, lead singer of the band Mies. I'm here with musicdistrict.io, discovering new music and pioneering music's future in Web3, one broadcast at a time.
Just when I thought that everything was fine, that awful feeling crawls on my spine. My thoughts begin to slow down. I overanalyze. I do this to exhaustion. You can see it in my eyes. There I go, down again, where I know that I've been. Here I am, tilted grin. Stare into oblivion till it stares back, back, back. I've been down before, yeah. This is nothing new. Remember how I got up? This is what I will do. The scars on me are glowing, shining red and blue. How the hell I get here? I haven't got a clue. Delving in original sin for the things like vanity. Get me out of this hell I'm living in. My eyes stay on above. Got to get back, back, back. Down on the door, Shiva on the table. Got around my neck, and I am made of flesh. Devil at the door, Shiva on the table. God around my neck, I am made of flesh. I rise above my own self and nothing else. Devil at the door, Shiva on the table. God around my neck, I am made of flesh. I rise above my own self and nothing else.
Let's go with it. Patty, welcome to
Thank you so much, man.
Web3
Yeah.
Artist Spotlight, man. I'm super excited to have you here, and we'll talk about how we met. But why don't you say hello to everybody? And before you do, essentially, just so you know what Web3 Artist Spotlight is, we feature the best emerging Web3 artists on chain. We give the stories behind the music, fans an opportunity to go from passive to invested fans into your Web3 journey in music. So why don't you introduce everybody and tell everyone who you are?
My name is Patrick Piccone. I'm the lead singer of a band called Mies. We hail from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. We're in a heavy rock / metal band. Our biggest idea behind the band is just rocking live shows. We write all the original music. We're a 3-piece plus one. Our drummer, he is a performance drummer, and he is a part of the band, that's for sure. But the main core members of the band are myself, my guitarist Paul, my bassist Freddie. We're all in our mid 30s to early 40s. We've all got a lot going on, but we've been artists our whole lives, and so we decided to make a band. And we're just ready to take it to the next level.
This is great, man. And I'm super excited that you did, because you got that sound that my ears have been aching for. I'm a huge Tool, Perfect Circle, Pacifier, Opeth fan. What I'm saying, Mastodon. Like, so when I started hearing your sound and sort of your vibe, I was like, oh yeah, baby, this is what I need.
Absolutely.
And you said rock metal band. Which is one of the very first rock metal bands that we are featuring here in the Music District. So it's an honor for me to have you here, man. And so when did you guys start your emergence into Web3? Because I know it's recently, but I just exactly when.
So it's interesting you say that, because my bassist and my drummer, they're kind of relying on my relationship to Web3. They're still for it, but they allow me to be more of the connection to it, which is kind of what a frontman and singer should do. I got into Web3 early 2022. I had known about, we'll say, like NFTs and crypto from much before that, but my full-blown degen lifestyle started in January of 2022. It started with NFTs, got more into crypto, but more recently, let's say about maybe 9 months ago, did I start really thinking about Web3 music. I linked up with another artist, and he's I guess you could say he's a friend of mine now as well, who we did actually create. It was a hip hop track based on one of the collections on chain. We sold a couple of units, reinvested it into ourselves and then into charities. And then a second time around, we did it, not the Christmas that just passed, but last Christmas, we did another hip hop track for a different collection that we're both a fan of. So I would say, like, the big idea and approach to it started maybe 9 months ago, 10 months ago, and that started with an actual track. And then we did one not too long ago for Christmas as well.
That's awesome, man. And so where did the name Mies come from?
Okay, so we all met at a restaurant that we all used to work at. That ironically, none of us work there anymore. So the original name was Mise en Place, which is a restaurant term, and it kind of talks about the things that you have that are ready for your service. If you're a server, you make sure that you have. It's more of a kitchen term, which I am. I'm a kitchen guy, and the other two members are more front of the house people. But servers, if it just be your forks and your knife being in the right place, making sure you have a bucket if you're going to be putting wine or something into it. For a kitchen person, it's chopping up your onions, cutting up your lettuce, doing everything, and you put it into place, and then that's your mise en place, the things that are in place for your service.
That's mise en place.
Yeah, mise en place. It's a French term.
I'm surprised you guys didn't go with mise en blast, being a metal.
I'm taking that, man. Don't trademark or patent pen anything in this conversation, please, because I'm going to take your ideas and I'm going to run with them. I'll give you credit. I'll give you credit. I won't take that away from you.
I mean, how did you not come to that?
I think we were just waiting for somebody like you to guide us in the right direction.
Yeah, right on, man. It's all yours.
Thank you.
But that's awesome, man. So yeah, you said Fred Labolerti is his name?
Yeah, La Liberté.
La Liberté. I see. So there's that French restaurant. I guess that's why he was working there.
It's somewhere in there. Yeah, it's baked in somewhere.
And then Stefan Lobis, he's your drummer, and then Paul Wheeler, who's also a guitarist.
Yeah, he's the guitarist, so he'll do a lot of backup vocals as well. Like in every song, minus actually every song, every single song, he's got at least some vocal backups. Freddie will get on some vocals as well. So they are technically both backup singers. I would just be like the lead singer, and yeah, okay. Stefan's on the drums. He rocks those things like none other.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I was listening to Villain and the beginning of that song.
Oh yeah.
Like it's like a very Jimmy Chamberlain.
Sure it is.
Smashing Pumpkins, like
yeah. And the cool thing about that song is we as a band, we're about 11, 12, 13 songs originally written. We perform up to 9 of them depending on the set.
Mm-hmm.
But each song is still evolving a little bit, especially for the live show. So if you heard Villains today, you'd be even more impressed with the drumming, because that was recorded probably 2 years ago, and we're tightening up as a band, and we're also growing as musicians. So the songs themselves, they're evolving a little bit as well. They're always staying true to their essence, but if you heard the live show Villains right now, I think you'd like it even more.
That's amazing. One of the first things I recognized before the lyric was how tight of a band you guys are.
Now,
I don't know if that's the maturity or whether that's the relationship that you guys have amongst yourself. What would you say? What is that area that you think is adding to that synergy between all you guys? Because you could hear it.
Well, I really appreciate you saying that. We've been told that a few times as well, that's part of our entertainment factor. That's part of our X factor when we're on stage, is that we're tight. And I would say that 2 things come to mind. One, we practice a lot, and we practice a lot together. We're brutally honest with each other when we're jamming about this part's got to be like this, and we usually have, like, if 2 people say, let's try something, and they like it, we go with it. And so we've been jamming together. We've jammed together for many, many months. Sometimes, and we eventually got to the point where we were jamming together 2 and 3 times a week for 2 and 3 hours at a time, not like every week, until our first and second, third show. Then the lockdowns happened, so we jammed a little bit less.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's because we have a clear vision that we all agree upon about what we want from the band and what we expect from ourselves. We have this saying where we're like, don't get caught listening, which means don't listen to the other guy, don't listen to the other. Make sure you're doing your job. And if everybody does that, that final sound is going to sound that much tighter, because they're focused in a way. But hella practice. If you want to get better at anything, practice.
Yeah, man. Now, how long? So you guys got back. So when you got into like Web3, was it that when the band sort of resuscitated itself, or was there any sort of history?
Yeah, absolutely. So 2022, right? I guess when lockdowns happened in 2020, we were a band, and we had performed just twice, and then we didn't again for a while. And so Web3 actually did act as more for me, like an outlet for me to be part of a community again. I did have other interests as well that brought me to it, but the Web3 thing was because I needed more connection. I needed to feel something again. About the lockdowns didn't finish too much further down the line from that, but yeah, I needed that sense of community back that I got from IRL, the communication in life that I wasn't getting. And so that's kind of how it started. When it started was the desire for connectivity. And so when we got a little bit more serious again, it's like, okay, we gotta find outlets. We got to get better on our social media. We have to find new avenues. I think Web3 is the route of the future, not just for music, but for everything online. So I dove into it, and then the band, whether they're not as active in it as I am, they're along for the ride as well, because they trust.
Yeah, well, your Web3 duty is you have to onboard them for sure.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, that's if everybody just onboarded one person, that'd be great. What has been your experience thus far? Because as the people are listening, people don't know really what Web3 is yet. And essentially, in this context of what we're doing, it's in the context of forging our way towards music independence, where we're getting rid of the labels and all those middle people that take too much for what it is they do, and they don't basically quantitatively share it evenly and fairly with the artists that are actually creating the music. But what would you say, as you got into Web3, was one of your biggest difficulties and one of your biggest aha moments?
The aha moment for sure is like, wow, we can do this independently.
Yes.
Like if you are consistent, you have a good sound, you're relatable, you're honest, you can find people. The biggest aha is like, wow, this is global,
Yeah.
right? So
There
if
you
you
go.
can find a fan in Australia who shows one person, in South America and Africa and Europe, all
Yes.
over North America, like you can reach. The reach is global. Whereas if you have, and I know like the streaming services are global as well, but
You still got to find it. You still got to search it out.
you still got to search it out in the Web3. And I'm mostly say on Twitter, on Discord or whatnot, and the outlets that Web3 has chosen to use. You connect on a personal level. Like I have my face is my PFP.
Mm-hmm.
My Spotify link is in my bio. But when you go into a spaces, you're actually communicating live with actual real people.
Mm-hmm.
And so the aha moment is like, wow, global, it can be very personal. You can actually make real connections with real people. Difficulty is that because it moves so quickly, you better stay hella consistent.
Yeah.
You have to be in a spaces every day. You have to be shamelessly promoting to every single person that is willing to listen. Also, just me. Let's say like I got to onboard my bandmates, but it's just me, right? Who's doing it.
You said something so interesting, and I would love to talk about it too, because I've come to the point as of this year where I step back from spaces, right? I step back from that particular consistency of having to be on spaces, present, engaged, where as a founder, pioneer in Web3, I think the biggest thing that I could do for my community better than being on a space every single day is developing and working this thing through, so other artists and artists like yourself, I could help promote and support and extend that more globally through something that we have here called the Web3 Music Network. That shit isn't getting done when I'm on spaces, right? That doesn't get done for me when I'm helping somebody live stream. So I also think that for artists, I do see that relativity or that mindset of having to be on spaces all the time. But I also think as pioneers and founders of people who are out there building projects, not just music and doing music, you don't want to see them online. Because you know what I'm saying? Because those people, I've come to the realization that those people aren't developing anything.
Yeah, fair. That's a great point. I really appreciate you saying that, because I haven't thought of that on my own. I didn't come to that conclusion myself. So I really appreciate anything you say about that stuff, man.
Yeah, I think it's so interesting. Everybody's on their own path. I think it's important, yes, for artists to have that consistency, but I don't believe it's a global behavioral set that's needed to succeed in Web3.
That's great advice, man. I appreciate you saying that. It's almost like, so it's like if you're on spaces, you're not rocking a show. If you're on spaces, you're not writing music. If you're not on spaces, you're not making those intimate one-on-one connections that you could through DMs or
right. And there is, let's be honest, man, there is an addiction piece of it, right? Like once you're on a space, you don't even want to get off of it.
Absolutely not.
Right? Because you love those people that you're talking to. You're enjoying them. They're your people. But at the same time, there's this unwritten script or rule or feeling that where if you're not on spaces or seen, then you are forgotten.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, that played my mind. It got me.
Right. So my thing is, if I'm not easily to be forgotten, then just forget about me now. I'm going to go build. I'll be back.
That's a very good point, man.
You know,
that I think I'm going to, and piece of advice I think I could lean into is that, yeah, if you're forgettable, you'll be forgotten. Do something that's unforgettable, and people are going to crave when you come back.
Sure.
Oh, I already know this guy's going to be every day. It's fun.
Right.
It's saturated. Like, I know I can catch him 7 days a week, so I don't need to listen to him Tuesday and Wednesday. He's going to be on Thursday anyway.
Right. Yeah, like build, right. Like, we're not getting younger. No. And you got a lot of talent and you got a lot of work ahead of you. I believe in you. I believe in the sound. I love your voice.
Thanks.
So I think there's a lot of that focus, because outside of that context of Web3, it's overwhelming, man. It is. But let me tell you, deleting the X app off my phone, spending a little bit more time with my family, my kids, going for a run, working out twice a day. And look, instead of being on Spaces, I'm reading this book. I'm learning how to code. That's
so cool, man. Good for you.
So it's like, this is the type of stuff that, for me, this is my journey. What I'm saying, and at the end of the day, I mean, I think there's also an evolution of understanding and acceptance, like you have with your bandmates. Like you were saying, how don't get caught listening, right? Do your job. I love that, right? But there is also, you said that if two people say something and it works, you go with it. So at some point you're on the shit end of the stick.
Yeah.
But you have the ability to accept. And a lot of people don't have that ability to accept. But not only do you have it, but your bandmates have it too.
Yeah.
So I think there's a level of acceptance that comes into play with everything in Web3. We have to redefine or re-educate ourselves and build what we feel the music community, not industry, right? Should how we want to manifest our futures.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we are what you said. Like we're pioneers here, right? Like there's going to be, and there has been, somebody who was the first Ethereum project that had music on them, right? Like that happened within the last couple of years. The first on-chain album
2 years ago.
Literally had no middle person. Just connect your wallet, click buy, and now you own a piece of the blockchain.
Dude, and now you have utility. I mean, what you got, I mean, like, if I was in a band like yours, right? Like maybe one of the things that you would start focusing on is, hey, look, I know a lot of you people, a lot of our friends, whatever, you don't know what Web3 is, but essentially it's a digital ticket. And if you have a credit card, then you already know what Web3 is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's the thing about what I've learned so much about with the NFTs, about how a roadmap and utility and how many of them didn't fulfill them. But when you have some projects that are like, if you own this NFT, you literally are entitled to, on our website, if we're touring in your town,
right,
you get a ticket. So this is literally an infinite pass, right? And it's in a contract too. It's in a smart contract that you literally are entitled to a ticket to a show when we're in your town. So it's an access pass.
And that's great, because that's exactly what it takes to get into these bars, to do these gigs. How many people are you going to bring?
Right.
Well, if you got 5,000 NFTs, you figure what, at least 15, 25% of them are going to show up.
Right. Yeah.
Man, that's what's up. That's exciting.
Yeah, it is. It's hell of exciting, because I've seen it in real time when it works. And that also is one of the strongest hype bringers to a project, is when people are actually, like you say, like reaping the rewards. It's the return on investment. And when that happens, and that's like the OG collections that did these things, where like, I don't want, like the Bored Ape Yacht Club, you actually got a ticket onto a yacht back in the day, or whatever.
Yeah.
It was, right? And it literally propelled them into superstardom, because who would have ever thought that a digital asset was going to be your ticket to a real world event?
Right.
It's tying and like such a immediate return, right? Because lots of investments take 25 years to mature.
I mean, think about it. Your next song, you could give up ownership rights. Just dedicate one song to the community of your fans.
Yeah.
And then everybody who buys the song essentially owns a piece. And if they're owning the piece, then it's going to be there. That's a perfect example of turning passive fans into invested fans. Because now I own a piece of your music to which I'm invested in. Yeah. And now I'm going to let every single one of my friends hear it and know it.
Yeah. Because if you also bake in that they get, let's say you blow up and you attach it to some kind of royalty,
Right.
or you attach it as actual like dollars, not just well, you own a piece of art, which is
Right.
I think cool, and I think a lot of people in the music community and the art community, they love that. Like it's not just about ownership; it's just like I know that I've given my support, but
Mm-hmm.
also like I've invested in something that is close to my heart, and that I feel like I am like I'm part of like the support system, that it's like it's real, like it's
Right.
tangible. And then if you are entitled to some kind of royalty from it, you're gonna tell every single person that their sister, their dog, and their aunt. Like you're gonna want everybody here because you also, if you make a chuck and change from it,
You just
then
gave me an idea, because even as a band, like, you would think that this utility, I just hit this idea, just fucking hit me.
you're welcome.
Thank you. But this is for you, because I'm not a band yet.
You kind of want to be now.
Like, the utility could essentially be meet at a bar with the band and hang out. There is no gig. I don't think a lot of people are doing that yet. We're so structured in the way that we are going about this, that I think we just kind of need to step back and say, hey, as a band, as members of this band, I love my fans. You could basically host like a happy hour from 4 to 5 or whatever. You know what I mean? And probably for less than the amount it would take to rent out a space, to gather your stuff, to get to that venue. And it's more of like a laid back thing, to where now you're promoting and pushing your event at this place in 2 months from now.
And I find that Web3 is full of so much imagination,
Mm.
so many talented people. It's just like the value for being involved in this for creatives and for tech developers and the people who are more talented in that way.
Yeah.
The relationships that people can have, and the advantages and the growth and the feeling of like I'm accomplishing something. It's like it's boundless. Like
if somebody's a developer, there's so many developers out there, so many talented developers, right? Just like world builders, right? But everybody's building inside of a vacuum.
Yeah.
Right? Like you look at these like Decentraland, Spatial, right? The multiverse. Essentially, yeah, I don't understand when these virtual realms are going to overlap, sort of portal inside of each other, because all this building, all this creativity, all this development is starting and ending there. And if there isn't anything inside of there that is able to broadcast out your creation, well, then it just sits in the corner.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The virtual side of music, or how have you played around in that at all?
You mean like performing in Decentraland kind of thing, or like?
Yeah, like there's virtual, like Spatial, Decentraland, multiverse.
Not yet. We would love to. So I actually am now working, like me with the band, me via the band, if you will. I'm working with an NFT project, and like I guess like meme coin project. They're gonna release a coin, release an NFT. That's gonna be part of like what I'm bringing to the table, is that we're working on it. I think it's gonna take a little bit of time, but about doing that, like it's never come up before. But yeah, my band, I know like they're on board with it. They think it's cool, because for them it's just like like I said at the beginning, like we just want to perform. I don't care if it is, you know what I mean? If it's in a digital world, if it's on a stage in Toronto,
it doesn't have to be live, right?
No, yeah, absolutely.
And so a lot of, I mean, and I'm your guy for that.
Thank you.
The networks that the platforms that we're in basically all of them, because we're trademarked on them. Yep. But we like to play though in Spatial. And the reason why I like that one is because it's accessible on your desktop, it's accessible on your mobile, and it's accessible on the Oculus. So the opportunity to experience this particular platform is not limited to having an Oculus, or limited to your desktop, or limited to an application. Let's face it, this is a very small niche audience.
Yeah.
So anytime you're messing around on a platform that is very specific to a device or a particular platform, you're shrinking down that niche even more. It's it's all over the world. It's pretty incredible. Just like throwing it out there, and through our partnerships that we have. So we've created some partnerships along the way. And these partners have all come together because we're all very passionate about music independence, and we all love music. We've all been doing music a long, long time. And so Metaverse Radio, shout out to Metaverse Radio. They do smart devices. So you're looking at replays of something that you're hearing here with us right now, which will be replayed on Metaverse Radio,
Yeah.
which is on the Alexa, the Google, all the smart devices. So that's one of our partners, IMU TV. This will be broadcasted across Roku. Let's see, Roku and Fire TV, and now Apple TV.
Nice.
Right. So it's like we're all, and the list goes on and on and on. But it's all these partners across these virtual, across these verticals.
Yeah.
So we're not just in virtual platforms, right?
Right.
We're in TV, we're on radio, we're on social, right? All other platforms, Vita TV, they're one of our partners in Decentraland, and they broadcast all our music there. So having these partners to be able to extend this message, even on top of what it is that I'm doing, is sort of the work, right? That a lot of people don't see, but it's when it hits, it hits. The mental health in and out of Web3, I believe, is so important, especially for artists, founders, pioneers, developers. Everybody's living their own story. Everyone's the main character in their own story. Let's say that, right? Like, it's great.
So it's like, I think that's the beauty of art, all art.
Right.
Being an artist is like, once I put it out into the world, it belongs to the world now.
Right.
It's whatever the world decides it is.
There is such a level of integrity as a creator to maintain that authenticity with yourself, to be able to express yourself in a way that's not diluted or infected with the external forces of life.
And that's even like how I've defined what an art, like for myself, like what it is to be an artist, is that like you can paint 100 paintings and never give it to the world. You're just a painter, not taking away from that. But the moment you bare your soul and you put that painting out, or you take a picture of it and you post it online, as soon as you do that, you're an artist. What I mean, it's being willing to be, I guess, like judged in a way, whether it's positive or negative is not important, but the willingness to bare your soul, know that you have the confidence that in your own self and that you're happy with what you did, or maybe you're not, but like I used to say when I went to university, at one point you got to hand in the essay. At one point you got to let it go. And then even what you learn from when you let it go and the response, and how you can grow with the response and say, okay, I'm going to still do it the way I do it, but always knowing that at one point it belongs to the world.
What are you doing it for?
That's a good question. I don't have a choice, because I don't have a choice. My body, brain, and soul is not letting me do anything but this. So my guitarist and I have a saying before we start every show is the first note is the last note, which means that you literally, like, you hit dang, and then all of a sudden you're doing the last part of our finale is like we do this like big build up with the drums and the guitar and screaming, and then we just bang and it hits. For like somehow, like, you don't even realize that it's been 45 minutes. Like the first note, it's like you hit the first one and all of a sudden you're hitting the last one. We're dialed in. That's how I know that authenticity is like you're just bleeding and sweating it, because it's like you've tapped in. You don't give room for any kind of faking or anything. So you're so in the zone that time travels faster, and like all the things, you're having fun. And so it's like the authenticity takes over so severely that you don't even notice what you've done until it's over. I think things happen for the reasons we give them. But if things like this keep happening, especially when you're interacting with somebody, like there's more to it. And for me, in a very positive way. Like
I said this on another artist spotlight, but what I found was, you're fearful, you're living in the past. If you're anxious, you're living in the future.
That's it, man. That's all there is to it. Like, yeah, like that's it, man. Yeah, anxiety is about things that aren't even real.
You said you had 3 other siblings?
I have three older siblings. Yeah.
Wow. Are any of them in music?
My oldest sister, she is a phenomenal singer and she plays the piano. So she's the oldest of us four, and she has never been on stage and she has never recorded anything. And it breaks my heart so far because she should.
Really?
She's like hauntingly good.
What
So
is she on? So it's funny. Let's do this. This is great.
yeah.
So every artist spotlight, we do
Yeah.
something called artist promoting artists. I say we do this artist spotlight with your sister. Do you have anything?
Nothing, bro. I'm not even kidding you. Zero.
All right, so let's go undercover and let's record one song. And then you got to give it to me in like 2 weeks.
Solid.
Yeah, she's shy. And maybe that little bit of positive reinforcement is enough for her to say, all right, maybe I'll do a live show or a live stream or something.
So I had suggested to her as well. I'm like, you could wear a certain outfit and you could put like a veil over, like a black veil over your face if you wanted, so the sound wouldn't get diluted, and you could literally call yourself Veil, like Vayle.
Love that.
Right? And like you and a piano.
Or we could just make her into an avatar.
You could just make her into an avatar. That's the beauty of Web3. Here we are.
The reason why avatars are such an emerging sort of opportunity is because there's so much talent out there like your sister, right, who doesn't feel confident enough to be on a camera. Yeah. And it's these avatars that give a whole nother genre of amazing artists sitting on the sideline because they're shy or for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But he was saying sometimes you have a scar, or maybe you think you're too skinny, or maybe you think you're too fat, or maybe you think you're this or that. Whatever it is, the avatar allows you to project more of a 100% transparency of your art rather than be sort of brought back with the feelings of it all.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what it is. That's what it is, man. It's so cool that within just a conversation, we might actually be creating an artist. You know what I mean? And that's because she is, at her heart, she is an artist.
All right, man. Artists promoting artists. We're going to be recommending Vayle.
Yeah. And then we're just actually basically creating an artist.
An onboard Web3 pianist that not a lot of people have heard of. So I'm excited to introduce the what is it? The unveiling.
Ooh. Okay, so
this crisis has me aware of all the hypocrisies that I share. I'm so afraid of alone, yet that is all I know. We get what we deserve. I've nowhere left to run.
Dressed to kill you look so right. I'm drunk with lust tonight. Your wounds are open and wide, and they might be just my size. Now I'm afraid of open water, but often bathe in sin. Let's be honest, you know you shouldn't bother, 'cause with me it's impossible to win. There was always warmth between us. Dressed to kill you looks so right. I'm drunk with lust tonight. Your wounds are open and wide, and they might be just my size.
You know, like
hallelujah.
Yeah, like this is just the beginning. This is everything I always wished Web3 to be.
That's amazing, man.
These conversations, because it's the opportunity of creation.
Absolutely.
Like that's what life is. It's just creating.
Yeah.
Right? Like
absolutely.
And moving. Like you got to move and you got to create. And those are and in between you breathe.
Yeah. Take a breath, take a water break, but get back on it. And like we said, like we're pioneering right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like it's so exciting. It's what gets you up in the morning. You make a plan, you execute, and then a new thing comes up, like this conversation about my sister. Who would have known, right?
Right.
Who would have thunk, right? Like who would have? Nobody. Until I think also too, part of that authenticity and that like the approach is this like just go with it, man. You know what I mean? Like just like who knows? So it's almost like real. If it's your story, let it out there, man.
Right. I mean, that's how shit happens. It's not something that happens to you.
Yeah.
It's something that you look back and say, shit, I can't believe that happened to me.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And a big part of it is recognizing opportunities, taking the plunge, and being okay with the outcome, like no matter what it is.
Yeah.
I think that's a huge part of it. Like let it go.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I think as a singer, does she and she sings as well, man. Man. And you play guitar, so you have acoustic? So this is I never, like you said, I never thought in a million years the show must go on, and all the world's a stage, and all the men and women are players. And
a huge Shakespeare person, because my dad is a huge Shakespeare person. She teaches English, my sister, and so she teaches Shakespeare. So if you just say something like that, like it just out of the park. There we go.
Let's fucking go, man.
Yeah, it's awesome, man.
Yo, man, Patty, I gotta tell you, thank you so much for taking time today, getting to learn a little bit about you and spending some time and about you and Mies and learning about Veil. We talked a little bit about Web3, the obstacles, the challenges. We talked a little bit about mental health. We did a lot today, and I just really appreciate getting to meet you and share your story. So if there's anything that we can do along the way to support you, feel free to reach out anytime. But thank you.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much. Just the same. It's been such a pleasure, such an honor, such a privilege. I love this. I love that this is, and it feels like this is just the beginning. And so it's exciting to be in for the ride. I can't wait for what the future brings, especially through vehicles like this one and what you're doing, man. Like I love it. I support it. So thank you so much. Just the same, man. From the bottom of my heart, man. I really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure, man. You're welcome back anytime, man. Anytime.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. I'm Patrick Piccone, lead singer of the band Mies. I'm here with musicdistrict.io, discovering new music and pioneering music's future and Web3, one broadcast at a time.
Just when I